Yes, thank you. Also a small contribution on my side. I'm the Secretary General of ALDA, which is the European Association for Local Democracy, and we work mainly at that level of the participation, so at the community level, and how to facilitate the work and the engagement of citizens in decision-making processes together with the local authorities. And we are a European organization with, as members, local authorities and associations. And by working at the local level with, throughout Europe, because we have members from all the EU member states, we realize, as you in this room, that citizenship is a set of rules, and that is very important at the end of the day. So our daily life is also based on a set of, rights and possibilities, which sometimes we are not so much aware when they are there, but when they miss, then you realize that they are important. I'm talking about health, I'm talking about education, I'm talking about the right to access to information. But citizenship, and in the meeting of today, this European citizenship is also a question of perception, a question of how we imagine our life and our, future. And it's a combination of reality and thoughts. We have been working with our initiatives also to build this common ID and this sense of belonging. And we have been working with our activities, and I'll tell you how and why it is important, on this sense of European identity. I think that we mentioned that earlier, and I've expressed that also several times this week. We are far from this common identity. I think that what will be our achievement in building the European citizenship or European identity would be to create this sense of common destiny. So Europe being una comunità di destino, So we all share a common destiny, economic, security, and political and social. So our aim is to achieve this comunità di destino. I prefer the word in Italian than in English. But as I said, maybe we thought we have achieved it because we have the institutions. So there is this machinery in place. We know that this is not super, but it's there, and it is sometimes giving us the impression that Europe is institutionally speaking in place. Therefore, it is perceived as this destiny, common destiny. We are far from that, I think, and maybe we should not give up. We often think that we have achieved, there is the Erasmus, students are moving, people are, traveling a lot and so on. But we should not say to decrease it. We need to move on because we are not there. Yesterday I was at the Basque region office here, and I was sharing with them the efforts of ALDA in the Eastern Partnership countries. And they said, yes, it's true, but for us, when we deal with outside world of the EU, it's not the East, it is the South, it is the Mediterranean area and South America. And when I go to Polish regions, they say, you know, for us, the strategic goal is stabilization in the East. It's Belarus and Ukraine and Russia relations. I say, well, what do we do in the Med area? What do we do with the immigrants? And what do we do with the rest of Africa behind the Mediterranean area? I said, well, I know it's important, but it's not our business. So where is the comunità di destino? If only Spanish and only Greek and only Italians deal with the Mediterranean problems, and only Polish people deal with the East. So we need to consider to acquire information and sense of what is important for all of us, because immigration is a problem for all of us coming from Africa. And this issue of Ukraine is important for Europe as such. So we are here to build and challenge a very complicated thing, because Europe is built on an assumption and a big slogan, which is united in the diversity. And once again, as the other MEP said, it's a nice word, but how to do it, it's another story. Yeah? But it's very complicated, because while the Americans are built around the concept of the melting point, so when you land in the America, you are American, and you lose your identity before you become a new human being. In Europe, we are not requested to lose the other identity. We are requested to do a psychological experiment to become a European without losing the other one. So maybe nowadays in Europe, we have worked also to unify, but how to work on the diversities while we are Europeans. This is something that we have not achieved very well. The issue of participation, this sense of belonging, as my colleague said, belonging is real when you care, when you participate. This is your community, this is your city, this is anything. If you don't participate, if you are not part of it, you don't care. This is psychology, this is not politics. So if we don't participate in the EU matters, we don't care. Now, I think that Europe is not a communication exercise. So I don't think that DG Com can change the destiny of Europe, no matter, I mean, what they do, because they cannot, that they don't have enough. They can somehow orient and do some things. But Europe is a big revolution, which means to overcome states. So where is the problem of Europe? The problem that we have in communicating the good things of Europe is not that we don't have enough leaflet in Hungarians. It's not that we don't have enough Euro info points. It's that we have the states which are the problem in the communication of Europe, because they choose it as a scapegoat for everything and anything. Let me give you the big example. Who is chairing the council today? Italy, right? And how is Matteo Renzi addressing Europe, saying, you don't like us. You are imposing your rule on us. He is the president of the council. So who is he and who is them? So this kind of exercise that the states are creating, the big device, the big step between the European exercise and their own community, is the center of the problem. So when we are looking for a European identity, it's not the EU institutions. EU institutions are almost perfect respect to what the states are doing to create the big division with culture, with communication, with this stupid constant exercise to create the scapegoat. Everything is bad is European. And I gave you the example of Matteo Renzi, who is actually a progressist, very well educated, and that I appreciate. But when he says Europe is, and he is actually the president of the council, and he has Italy as one of the biggest delegations in all the European institutions. So how can they say that Europe is something else? And I'm talking about all the EU big member states. There are not so many with 60 million of inhabitants. On another matter, democracy is a struggle, and it's, as Geremek said, we have to work for it. We have to work for maintaining our democratic Europe. And I'm talking to now all the other non-democratic movement coming in. I'm reading a book from the past, from Vladimir Vukorsky, and 1967 Soviet Union. And there is a page which is so actual. And he says he is struggling in the Soviet Union of the 70s. And he says democracy, it's a struggle. It's not, we have it, we step back. And this is what is now happening here. We have to struggle for it. It's a fight. Because it's much easier the other ways. ALDA is actually, why are we working on these issues at the local level? Because participation is an attitude, to quote a commercial which is talking about elegance. You know, elegance is an attitude, participation is an attitude that you have. So by developing a sense of participation, you acquire it in all the public ways, whether it is at the local level, whether it is at the European level. So to get out of this usual way of, you know, métro, boulot, dodo, huh? So you get out of this thing that, well, what I care is only around my flat, yeah? So we do, because we think that at the local level, the sense of participation is more easy acquired and grasped, you know. You can get to the municipality and you can do something. We do it by creating conditions for local authorities and citizens for working together, therefore empowering civil society, empowering local authority, and give them the opportunity to work together. Of course, the topics and the frame is the European frame. So let the people exchange experience at the European level to have this. I conclude by saying that this issue of participation, which is both local and also at the European level, not to forget that the sense of participation is also now enshrined in the treaties. Not to mention the Article 11 of the Lisbon Treaty, which mentions the needs of citizens being involved. This is also all the, you know, this article is linking all of us, Europe for citizens, and all the parliaments and so on. So participation, both at the local level and at the EU level, needs investments. It needs instruments from both sides. It means that participation and dialogue with citizens implies capable citizens aware and capable and coalized citizens, and it means possibilities on the other side to listen, but not only to listen, but also to digest and accept the participation. First, let me give you an example what I mean by that. 7 years ago, so the other start of the programming periods, as you know, we live in programming periods. Yeah? So we were testing the citizens panel exercise together with Europe for Citizens. We discussed a lot about this citizens panel methodology. And we tested a citizens panel, which is the possibility to give ordinary citizens the facilitation and to engage them in decision-making processes. And we did it in Cyprus with our partners there. And as it always happens in Cyprus, no matter you do, you go back to the question of the Cyprus issue, you know, what do you do? So we organized citizens panels in Cyprus, and they said, we are happy to participate. What do you do with our words? What do you do with our participation? Because they said, we are happy to participate, but what do you do? So the question is, what do we do with the participation? How do we digest it? How we use it? So on the other side of the line, we also need to have clear rules to accept the participation. So to conclude, I think that this European adventure needs to be completed both at the institutional level, which sooner or later we come to the point. Yeah? Which roads do we choose? Intergovernmental story, or more, you know, engagements, direct engagement with citizens, or federalist approach. And the other issue, while we are engaging in a big institutional adventure, I think that Europe, and that was the conclusion of the meeting we had on the 5th of December, Sophie, Europe can have a lead in this new concept of citizens' participation towards institutions. How do we deal with this direct, you know, participatory democracy? And this is something that ALDA is very much working on. Thank you.